It's Tuesday. And it's okay if you're not, because by the time you leave here, you will be. So let's get this. Let's go. Zuber, what's going on?
Not much, family. How are you?
Ready for this call, man. I'm beyond excited. Looking forward to it all week. Got a bunch of people. I think I got a bunch of family members joining too. Some people were messaging me saying they just wanted to get an update from Mr. Zuber himself. So we're excited. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. As we always do, let's start off with some wins as we're waiting for some of the people jumping on a little later. Let's start off with some wins, things that are working well, things that are excited about, maybe something you're proud of from this year, right? Maybe there's something you did in your business or personal life, whatever it is. Let's start off with some wins. Who has some wins?
Hey, just a quick one here. We having a good closing month, and we did score a couple of home runs. You should check out Nick Ramirez on Instagram to see a little bit about him. But we had two we're closing this week for a total of $216,000 in wholesale fees. So good week, and a bunch more closing. So all good.
How much, KP?
216.
216 for the month of
1 day.
For one day.
It'll be
One day.
These all go towards November production, but that all happened yesterday.
Light work.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
That's
Good
a good
job.
day. That goes down as a good day.
I love it. For some people, that'd be a good year.
Yeah. For most of my life, that would have been a good year.
You take a vacation.
That's funny. Great job to the team. I think they're on track to have close to a 400K month. So great job.
Wow.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Who else has a win? Things you're excited about, things that are working well. Who else would like to share?
I'm about to meet one of my mentors and favorite people in the world at a property at 2 p.m. today. That's a big win for me. Mr. Ty Leon Guerrero.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love it. Bring your rain boots, dude. That house is nasty. The house we're going to look at. Maybe we'll do a live on it. Maybe we'll do like an Instagram or Facebook live. This is going to be interesting for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Bring
Oh,
in
yeah.
Starbucks.
I love it. I love it. Looking forward to it. Who else has something? It's good to see you. Juan Ponce. Haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome back. Omar, good to see you. They're in the room, in the boiler room. I love it. What's up, Ali? Jessica, Felice, Juan, Gil, Jose. Good to see so many great people. Terry. Who else would like to share some wins? Things you're excited about, things that are working well before we start the party.
I want to share, Ty.
Just a quick side note. Super happy to see so many people getting on here to enjoy the meeting with Michael and Adrienne and Ty. Almost 50 people so far. That's awesome.
Love it. Thank you, KP. Love it, man. Love it. Who else was, I think Omar was going to share, or I think someone else was going to share.
Yeah, just going to share about being plugged in with you guys right now and our conversations with Michael Zuber every Tuesday. And we got some cool stuff cooking. Just figured out a way to save a whole shitload of money. That's all I'm going to say.
Nice. Saving making money, baby. Let's get it.
Let's go. Excited about that, Omar.
We need to talk later.
As our friends say, it's not how much money you make, it's how much money you can keep, right?
Yep.
Huge. I love the setup you got, brother. Let's go.
I love it. Who else? One more win. Who else wants to share a win? Something you're excited about, something you're proud of for the year? Anyone?
Well, we had a listing that was going on, obviously, in Sugarloaf. We had it listed at 295. We were kind of hoping for like 305 to 330, but we received an offer immediately for like 346, and then we just recently got one at like 360. I still have to go over all of the offers with Adrian, but it looks like we might be bidding this then up to like 370, 380.
Yeah, let's go. That's going to be a happy seller, right?
I love this market. Great job, Zach. I want to give a kudos to Zach. He's kind of underplaying this a little bit. So Zach typically has somebody always going with him on appointments. He took this down 100% on his own from start to finish. No one had any contact with the sellers. It was all Zach. That was huge. That's the biggest win. Great job, Zach, dude. Great job.
Love it. Love it. What's up, Mario? Good to see you. Welcome. I love it. I see you. You're like Instagram famous in my world because I see you all the time in the in the background. I see you in the background, so I love it. It's good to have you on the call.
Good to see you guys.
I love it. I love it. Anyone else want to share anything before we get into it? I know it's about 6 minutes after the hour. I think we got time for one more if somebody has it. Otherwise, I'm going to get going.
Ali had a win. Ali, did you unmute yourself? Thought I saw you unmute yourself a few times.
No, I was just gonna say, I see Mahmoud here. We got another one of my people, another one of my brothers. Let's go. Now that was what I was gonna say, and I was gonna shout out Mario over here, the dynamic lender and agent duo, Elizabeth and Mario.
Hey, what's up, Ali? Good to see you, man.
¿Qué onda, compa?
¿Qué pasó, mi hermano?
I love it. That is how we get down. I love it. Good job. I love it. Love it. Love it. So let's do this. I want to just kind of set the stage. We're going to get into it. I want to set the stage. I didn't prepare a bunch of slides. I got a couple slides and stuff, but it's really, this is an organic conversation. And when I say organic, what I mean is that if you know Michael Zuber, you know, we literally should be on our hands and knees to have Michael here. He is a blessing. He is so generous with his time and his knowledge and his information. He really is a blessing to this community. And I just want to share, a lot of people don't know the backstory. You know, Michael worked in high tech. He worked at HP. He worked in Silicon Valley in sales, was kind of getting burned out with it, was investing in the stock market, lost a little bit of money, maybe a lot of money in the stock market, and said, you know what? He read Rich Dad, Poor Dad and said, I need to be in real estate. And this is how dynamic this guy is, because he's understated. I want to brag on him. He literally is a sales guy, putting money in his 401k in the stock market, loses a bunch of money and says, you know what, to hell with it. I'm going to start investing in real estate, retires pretty quickly. I don't know exactly. I want to say 10 or 12 years, retires himself. How many years, Michael?
For me, well, I could have retired in 12 years. I worked 15. My wife retired in 8. So that was a win.
Retired his wife in 8 years, retired himself shortly thereafter. But the beauty is this. He owns over 175 doors in California, not in Nebraska or Kansas City, Missouri, or some podunk place in the middle of nowhere. He's in California. So this guy, let me just tell you, when he talks and he shares, we want to pay attention. He really studies the market. Why? Because he's invested in it. So back to the organic conversation. I did prepare some slides and such, and I'm just going to say, you know, here's the pretty slide, right? I want to just, I'll share, I'll stop sharing. I want you guys to have a lot of Q&A. I've got some stuff and I'll show a couple of slides and things like that, and I'll kind of lead it. Adrian will, you know, get involved there. But really, this call is all about you, each of you individually. So if you have a question, you have the reaction there. All you got to do, look, is raise your hand. See how my hand's raised there in the reactions? That's all you got to do is raise your hand. Raise your hand, and that way I'll know to call on you. And even as we're going, if you have a question, just raise your hand, and then that way I can interact with you. Michael can interact with you. Adrian can interact. But we want to make this interactive. It's organic and interactive, not us just kind of, you know, spewing like I've been doing for the last few minutes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, let's go. Remember this, guys, great business owners ask great questions. So let's ask as many questions as we can throughout this segment, right? If we got to go a little bit over, we'll go a little bit over. But I want to make sure we fully serve, we fully deliver, and you guys get what you need by the end of this call.
I love it. I love it. So Michael, why don't you just tell them a little bit about yourself and maybe a little, just, I shared a little backstory, but for those that don't know, share just a little bit of the backstory.
Yeah, the only thing I guess to sort of add on top of that is I start my journey in 2002. That means I get the run up. I've always been in California. You know, I watch the market. I check the affordability index as kind of my indicator to get out of single family. It flashed red in 2006. So I 1031 out of houses into apartments. I've experienced the crash. I saw it come down. I understand what happens when houses, like my market fell 75% peak to trough, was buying the whole time, right? You never know when the bottom's coming in. And now that I've been in this 15, 20 years, there's a couple of things you have to know. One is you make your money when you buy. Zillow tried to prove that wrong, but it's a rule. If you pay too much the day you buy, you pay too much, right? Zillow is going to lose about $550 million. Good for them. Time in the market beats timing the market. And for that example, I'll tell you about my first house that I write in this book over my shoulder. I don't do anything special. Bought it out of the MLS. Didn't have access. I found it on realtor.com. I paid 107 grand. I put 20% down. I paid retail. It was the only house I looked at that was available. The first tenant moves in and screws me left, right, and left, right, and center. Lose 3 years of rent, spend 15 grand on a remodel. And that was after losing $150,000 in the stock market. So again, I'm feeling like a two-time loser at this point. My wife says, did we do anything wrong? The answer is no. Lo and behold, that property that we lost all that money on in 3 or 4 months went on to add, I don't know, $500,000 in net worth, $100,000 in liquid cash, and now has morphed or blown up to about 41 units. Because the beauty of real estate, when you're in the market, a house becomes a quad becomes a 10 unit, a 10 unit becomes 20 units. You can start to move your money around. So again, I'm a conservative investor. I'm not high leverage. I'm not maximum leverage. I'm not do burr until I'm not the zero or infinite return, although I've done lots of them. I believe real estate investing is the surest path to wealth. It will lead to a better financial future first. And then if you stick at it, financial freedom. And I think every real estate agent, every licensed agent needs to own some real estate. You guys are in it. You get first sniff of deals. You can be the most creative when you are hearing from the seller, I just want out. I want to be done. I don't care who buys it. You can get very, very creative. So the last thing I will say about real estate, because this is about next year, is if you follow one rental at a time and you've been buying the last 2 years, congratulations. You've seen somewhere between 20 and 30% appreciation in the last 2 years, and you deserve every penny of that. You took action. That doesn't mean that if you haven't taken action, it's a bad time. It just means you missed one hell of a time, right? So when I look out the next years, I do not see a crash. I don't see how one could happen, but we can break down those reasons as we go forward, because it's demand, supply. We have some biggest threats. I'll let Ty and Adrian sort of go where they want to go from here.
So that's awesome, man. Thank you for all of that. And so let's just kind of recap. Let's recap 2021, right? So we're supposed to be coming out of a pandemic. The overall health of the US and worldwide economy. How do you see the US economy and then the worldwide economy right now?
Well, yeah, let's actually talk about how 2020 ended, because again, the beauty I love of doing daily shows, right? 5 videos a day on my YouTube channel with experts like Ty, like Adrian, like Omar. All of these guys have different days, right? Ty on Friday, Adrian on Wednesday, Omar on Tuesday. Is we can go back and watch all the videos. I don't edit them and I don't delete. So when we are wrong, we are wrong. However, we ended 2020 by saying, what the hell are these idiots talking about? Crash coming, 10, 20, 40%. Well, we told you back then it wasn't happening. It wasn't possible. The dominoes weren't lined up and we were right. So I want to celebrate Ty, Adrian, and Omar for calling how it was, because we could have been wrong, right? It could have happened. It wasn't. So take the victory lap. The other thing that would happen is people were talking about this foreclosure wave and the foreclosure moratorium. And oh my God, it's going to be 08 and 09 again. And it was a fart in the wind. It was less than 1%. It just wasn't going to happen. The debt structure is different. Everybody has equity. It's these idiots are trying to scare you, and they make up every time you click on a scary video, that freaking creator makes a penny. Stop clicking on the videos. It is crazy how much money these people are making. And they're not helping you, right? The person who made no money last year because they didn't get in. Thank you, Ken McElroy. You scared me into not buying any homes because you told me it was going to fall 40%. Wrong. The other thing that people said, eviction moratorium. It's going to cause a huge wave of evictions. Some, not a wave, certainly not a problem. The other things that have happened this year is we've seen a lot of rent increase. Not only have we seen price appreciation, we have seen more rent appreciation in houses and apartments than I thought was logically possible. I have been doing this a long time. I have friends and I talk to them like one I just talked to this morning. He raised his rents. Tenant left, tenant moved in, 42%. That is retarded. That is so high. Miami, 20.9%. Phoenix, 19.6%. These are just rates for the entire state in cities. The best thing to own in an inflationary environment is an asset that you can put a little down on, that is fixed rate debt, that has income increases called rent, and the values go up. There is nothing better than buying a residential property, 1, 2, 3, or 4 units with 30-year fixed rate debt. Nothing. Again, you get all the appreciation and you put maybe 3.5% down if you're house hacking or 25% down if you're an investor. I mean, come on, there's just nothing better. So 2021 has been an amazing year. You know, when you have a portfolio that's bigger than most, it is a really good year. The net worth is nuts. The income is nuts. Get in, do the work, focus, buy box, daily discipline. You will hear me talk about that ad nauseum. The rules don't change. Do the work, get paid. It's that simple.
I love it. We've got a couple of hands raised, so I want to go to Chester. Chester, you have a question for Michael? You should be able to unmute yourself. Chester?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Sound good. Go for it.
Awesome. Thank you guys for putting this together. Definitely appreciate it. And Michael, thank you as well. I know the book should be getting to my, or books plural should be getting to my cousin in the next couple of days. When I believe it was you, Michael, who had mentioned it a second ago about the affordability index.
Yep.
It might have been either you or Ty.
Yep.
But in definitely in, kind of following one rental at a time, doing the daily discipline. My question was about, how much sense do you think it would make to do a sort of dual review, so to speak, of doing the daily discipline and also looking at the affordability index for your market on like a regular basis? And the reason why I was thinking about it like that was, would it be sort of like a predictor to kind of tell, here's a good time to like start and stop, when you had mentioned making the pivot from single family to, I believe you said it was multifamily, I believe. I'm trying to remember from the book. And then would it make sense either to do that, or would it simply make sense to kind of keep making offers where they would make sense? And then of course, whenever the seller says, hey, no thanks, just kind of keep moving. So which kind of strategy would make more sense?
Yeah. So Chester, thank you very much for your support. I was at the post office yesterday sending those off. So the autograph books will be there in 5 or 6 days. So first and foremost, the thing about the affordability index is, first off, it's only updated in my market once a month. Some markets, it's once a quarter. So it's not like something that moves daily or weekly. The second thing to understand is it does move very slowly. What you are looking for is inflection points, right? It stopped going up, which means, okay, now prices, the price will go up, there's just lots of variables that make it up. So the good news is if you look at the affordability index every 90 days, plenty of time. It doesn't move that fast. It's not like a PE ratio or something you have to check every day or every week or something like that. As for making offers, I truly believe it's always a great day to make a great deal. I talk about the deal of the decade happening once a year. I make offers all the time. I made offers and bought all the way down. I have no idea. I look at my market every flipping day for 20 years, and I can't time the market. Never try to time the market. The affordability index tells me when to get in, get out. The good news is in 20 years, it's only flipped twice. So I really only had one monster pivot. It just doesn't move that fast. For example, Fresno, California, when I started investing in 2002, it was about a 60. It goes all the way down to a 20 or a 21. When it gets below 23, 24, it's a yellow flag. If it ever hits 20, it's red. What does that mean to me? In my market, it gets below 25, I sell my dogs. It gets down to 20, 21, I sell everything. When I say everything, I mean most things. And I move that money elsewhere. And then it turns, right? It goes from 20 to 25 to 30. And it got all the way up to like 71 in 2010, which means, geez, I mean, everything's on sale. There are diamonds and gold bars everywhere. And then it got rolled over at 71, and today it's like 42. So it's a really, really safe time in my market. I know people are flipping out because prices are up 100 grand, but incomes are up, rates are down. Housing is a payment. And now when you look at the biggest threats, one of the largest threats is an interest rate shock. We get a huge pop from 3.3 to like 5.3 because of some market accident. Real estate is going to stop. I do not think real estate crashes as in values, but most of the people on this phone make commissions. You want to see a tough market to be a real estate agent in? Whew, you go from 3.3 to 5.3 in a heartbeat. There's going to be a lot less real estate transactions, at least a lot less traditional real estate transactions. It probably is a great time to do sub 2, but you're going to get a lot less people going, For those of you that have been doing this a while, think about 2018. There was a couple of aggressive Fed rate hikes in 2018 that basically stopped the Bay Area and Southern California real estate for like 6 months. Think about that times 4, right? The Fed moved rates a half a point, 2 quarter-point moves in about a 60-day. There was too much. The market threw up. Have the rates go up 200 basis points and see what happens. So that's one of the biggest threats to kind of weave this into Chester's conversations is a gigantic market accident, black swan, where the 10-year note goes from 1.6 to 3.1. The 10-year goes from 3.3 to 5.3. That's going to be a bad day.
And I want to just interject there that, you know, Michael said something, and I hope it really stands out. I hope everybody really takes note. He said, rather than time the market, how you're successful is time in the market. And it's a theme. He shared a lot of like everything he's saying, right? So much, but really I want to make sure that that sticks out. Timing versus time in. It's a big deal, right? So you want to be able to...
Ty, I would love to give an example there. So everybody knows that I love to pick on Zillow because they're going to lose $550 million being stupid. Here's the reality. All Zillow would have to do is hold those assets for somewhere between 2 and 4 years, stick a renter in there, like one rental at a time, come be a landlord, and they would make gobs of money. But no, they're choosing to recognize the loss because their CEO is an idiot and deserves to be fired. But yeah, time in the market is the magic, Chester. Always do a great deal. And then because you do a great deal with one rental at a time, it cash flows day one. Rents go up, fixed debt. Even if we go from 3.3 to 5.3 and you've already bought, your debt's frozen. It doesn't change. Rents are going to go up because I promise you this is what people don't get. Talk about the real estate crash. My market fell 75%. That's a crash. 300 grand to $75,000. That was a crash. Rents exploded. Because what happens when people lose their houses? They do not lose the desire for shelter and suddenly live in the street. They rent. The worst time to be a landlord was the housing bubble because I was turning tenants down and they were getting approved for loans. The best time to be a landlord was either last year or 2010 when everybody was being foreclosed because they still want a house. They still want the good school districts. Always do a good deal. Always make sure it cash flow. If you learn your market average is 6 and you're doing 9s and 10s, you win. You win. Just hold on.
I love it. I love it. Let's go to Hector. Hector, I just did a request for you to unmute. Good to see you, brother. Haven't seen you in a long time. Man.
I know, man. It's been quite a while. It's always a pleasure to speak to and talk to you. Always, you know, you're always surrounded by amazing people. So thank you for putting this together. Michael, I had one quick question. I was going to start investing in some fourplexes and triplexes, and someone recommended that maybe I shouldn't put my investment dollars into those properties simply because, you know, they're tied into comparables, right? It's still residential, and even though there's income coming in, and let's say the debt service and things of that nature. What's your take on that? I mean, you know, initially in the beginning of the call, you mentioned you went from one house to a duplex to a quadruplex to to 5 units and et cetera. You kind of started small, but what's your take on maybe getting into some residential to start as an investment portfolio and then maybe growing that into some larger, 5+ units, 10+ units, et cetera?
So there is definitely a raging community that likes to scream, Hector, bigger is better. First off, there are very few things in real estate that are always true. I will buy whatever the best deal is. And people that are in my course or follow me know that I calculate yield, whatever the highest yield is, I buy that deal. It's that simple. The people that are preaching buy bigger, essentially, or worse yet, give me your money, become part of a syndication, right? Become an LP versus GP. They don't have your best interest in heart. I have no skin in the game and can give one rat's ass what happens. Here's the deal. I believe the greatest risk any real estate investor has in 23, 24, 25, those are the years, is interest rate. I don't give a rat's ass if you're buying a 5-unit building or a 100-unit building. You have interest rate risk. Today, cap rates, and again, I can use their vocabulary because I own this stuff. Cap rates are compressed like I've never seen. People are doing syndications with stupid rent assumptions. I'm an accredited investor. I get all or at least most of these, and they have stupid assumptions in them. We have seen, as I said earlier, 10% rent increase. I have never seen that. People are now forecasting 4 or 5% rent increases for year 2, year 3, year 4. Folks, I've been doing this a long time looking at the economy. It will not happen. Rents cannot continue to go up at this rate. People will revolt. They are now sitting around like my mother did in 1979. I remember as a small kid going, Michael, we have $87 left and we have $312 in bills. I don't know what to do. Rent will not be paid if rents can go up. They will buy 2 months, 3 months, and go live with family, go do something else, because they will put gas in their cars. They will put food in the fridge, and they will make sure they have their cell phones or whatever. Rent is not number one priority. So I believe anybody buying a net new commercial property today is setting up crazy interest rate risk. I am very clear at what I do. I spent the last 12 months taking all of my apartments and getting 30-year fixed rate via non-QM lenders. What that means is I paid more. I paid 4.99%. And some people will freak out. Well, okay, great. You can go get 3.25 with a 7-year cliff. I do not want to be refinancing in 7 years. I would like to know that my debt is fixed and my rents go up. So the short answer is the best thing you could buy today is made better by the gift of the Federal Reserve, and that is a 30-year mortgage at stupid low levels. I'm not touching unless it's a deal of the decade, which happens. I would not touch an apartment today. They're too richly valued. There's bad assumptions. People are going to be shocked when cap rates go up 1, 2, 3, 4%. It's going to happen.
So good, Michael. So good. And so with that bigger being better, what about the cheaper being better?
You want to talk about the surest way to go broke? Buy something because it's cheap. I've been doing this for 3 years. I can't tell you how many people in California go, hey, I can buy something in some other state for less than my car. Well, first off, you probably have a too expensive car, and I hope you don't have a car payment. But buying something because it's cheap is a horrible idea. Horrible idea. It's probably buying something cheap is just as bad as Zillow overpaying. Cheap is relevant, and especially if you are arrogant and egotistical that think you can be in flipping California and find a property in Ohio that's been on the market for 6 months. And you don't think everybody in Ohio has already kicked that deal 3 times? You think you have some magic wand that suddenly makes that deal, and you're going to pay retail like list price? Are you freaking kidding me? People do this all the time because you have local bias. Oh my God, in LA County or Silicon Valley or New York or Florida, it's 400 grand. Look at that cute little thing I can get for 57 grand. It doesn't make it a good deal. It just doesn't. Cheap is not the answer.
And I say that because Michael and I have had several conversations, and in the theme in California is always everybody wants to go to the South. They want to go to the East. They want to buy things at 70 grand, 50 grand, 60 grand, but cheaper is not always better.
No, I have met plenty of people who have lost hundreds of thousands of dollars buying cheap. If you want to be one of them, buy something just because it's cheap. Not a good idea.
Talk about a mindset shift. I
Yeah,
like it.
exactly.
Elizabeth.
Oh, you back on mute, Elizabeth. Sorry. There you go.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thank you, Michael, once again. I have a quick question for you. I know you talk about stagflation and the fact that the 70s are very relevant to what's happening now. So my question goes, you do talk about the fact that prices are not going to come down, but transaction count is. So as a real estate agent and knowing that a new chairman from the Feds is going to come in, how do you think we need to prepare for it? And how much do you think rates will go up with that happening? Do you think that chairman's going to come in and just, stick it to us?
Yeah. So right now, there obviously Powell, I think the current betting on the market is 60-40. 60% Powell will come back, 40% a new Fed chair. Baird, I think her name is. She's actually more dovish than Powell. So I do not believe a change in Fed presidents will change rates all that much. I do think the stock market will have a couple of days of, oh my God, but I don't see the Fed president changing, really impacting real estate when you look at rates. Rates move a lot slower. I would be more worried about contagion from China, some other kind of market accident. I actually think it is far more likely that the Fed stays dovish, which means keeps rates low way too long. I believe the Fed has fundamentally changed their position. Up until last year, the going concern for the Fed was stable prices, full employment. Now, if you're a parent, you never have two number one priorities, right? Right? It's like keep the kids alive, keep them fed, right? You always want to keep them alive, and then you keep them fed. The Fed has flipped it. The Fed now says full employment and then steady prices. You can't have both. So I believe the Fed, both Powell and Laird, I might be mispronouncing her name, will keep rates too long, and they could create the market accident. But that's late next year. So I think we've been given a gift in real estate, especially of investors, to lock in lifetime cheap 30-year mortgage. And so I don't, a black swan is just that, Elizabeth. It's like something you don't see coming. And that's funny because I actually called China's debt market like 6 months ago being a black swan. So I feel really good about calling that early. I don't think we have a lot to be concerned about, like right in front of us, but you're absolutely right. I think inflation runs hot probably throughout next year. I think the first Fed rate hike is in July. And then I think they start raising pretty quickly. So we could see a slowdown late next year. But again, I've been buying, Elizabeth, since rates were in the 7s. So, and I just told you I did deals at 4.99 on purpose. So you can always get deals done. I think what happens for owner occupants is a little bit of payment shock. So the 50-year spreadsheet you've heard me talk about, we've talked about it on this group before. We all of us need to watch wages. Right now, wages are going up 5% or 5.1%. I think wages continue. And the beauty about the affordability index that Chester talked about is a lot of these newbie YouTube channels talk about price. It's never price. Then they talk about price and interest rate. That's only 2 of the 3 legs. The third leg is incomes. The reason that real estate went up over 100% in the 70s and rent went up 120% is because incomes went up. So if incomes continue to raise higher, which they are right now, and I think the employee has more power than they've had in decades, you can do a lot more. Again, higher wages just mean inflation run longer. So it's going to be an exciting year, but I don't see a huge market catastrophe. I'm pretty excited.
Great question. Great answers. Love it. Mr. Terry.
Great. So as real estate agents, what kind of content do you feel like we should be putting out to our sphere in regards to what's going to be taking place this upcoming year? I mean, because what you've given and a lot of the questions are a lot, and I'm sure even some of us who are in the space, some of it's going over our heads. But what do you feel like is some good digestible content that we could be putting out there?
Well, again, if you're a real estate agent, I'm going to make some assumptions, Terry. I'm going to assume that the lion's share of your business is from owner occupants. You can shake your head up and down or no. Yeah. So what I would doing, and I would not be worried about economic data, right? Most of this, as you said, goes over your head and you're like in the throw of it. Most owner occs are like, you just confused me. I'm not calling you. So what I would do if I was a real estate agent is I would create content that attracts eyeballs. I would say, let's find the number one pizza joint. Let's find the number one school district, or this is a brand new business that opened, or, oh, by the way, come see this place and get 10% discount on spa treatments. Or you have to make it about your location, sell up the location in the video and get eyeballs. Because what you want is qualified buyers or qualified contacts. Actually, you want qualified contacts in your local sphere. So if you're selling in Orange County, and I'm just making stuff up, I would create Orange County specific. And I'm guessing Orange County is big enough where you have territories or little pockets. I would become the expert in Orange County, small zip code 123, whatever it is. That's what I would
north and south.
There you go. I would become North Orange County guy, pizza. And I would do school districts and pizza joints. And then I would give a history lesson about Orange County South or North or whatever I said. Did you know that in 1917, we had the first traffic light installed? And just become a whiz bang knowledge expert. So when you get somebody in Massachusetts that's going, I'm going to move to Orange County, I wonder what's going on in Orange County. Then you could talk about the summer events. You can talk about the winter events. And that's what I'd be doing. I wouldn't be doing this economics 101 stuff. It confuses the hell out of most people. And I do it every day.
Makes sense. Thank you.
I love it. I hope we all wrote that down. I know there's a lot of real estate agents on this call. I definitely hope we wrote that down. Some of the, so you guys see Tim Smith or some guys here in OC, and a lot of them go and they're interviewing the CEO of the restaurants on their YouTube. They're interviewing the owners of the new small business that just opened on PCH, right? And the amount of referrals that I see come from those restaurants to those agents, it is insane. It's a different perspective, right? We always, and I'll speak to this because I know as an agent, I wanted to put like the best information out. You guys, rates are going up. But I want to touch on this, what Michael said, it confuses most people, right? It confuses us, and we're in the business. We do this every day. Imagine somebody who has never sold a house in their life, who doesn't even know about real estate. Now, all of a sudden, we're talking about all these numbers, the Fed, the 10-year trade, right over their head. They're like, how do I buy a house? And can you help me? Yes or no? Right? So really important. I love that, Zuber. Terrell.
Yes, gentlemen, sorry, can't see me much. There you go. Michael, always a pleasure seeing you and always a pleasure to hear your wisdom. I have this question, so I can understand your take right now on how everything is going. But the question I have is more about appreciation. So we're seeing a stupid amount of money. We're seeing stupid interest rates. We're seeing stupid income increases, right? We're seeing all that stupidity that's happening. How do you see that long term? Because appreciation is something, right, that's affect us as developers, as real estate agents. How do you see that transpire? So you're saying July, possibly we'll see rate hikes, but what's happening? Like, what's your take?
Yeah, so I love that, but and Terrell, drive safe, man. It's always a pleasure to see you. We've known each other a couple of years now. So I actually did a video called Economics 101. I think it was Sunday morning, and it's one of those videos I tell you to get a piece of paper out. Get a piece of paper out because I walk you through the logic. So I think we are about to see 6 to 9 months of stupid inflation, to steal Terrell's saying stupid. And the reason is because supply demand is undefeated, right? In a normal environment where we've had 2% or thereabout inflation, which we had from 1985 to 2018, usually you have supply and demand and they're about equal. Right? So if you take that picture, and again, watch the video and go through it together because it becomes very obvious. What have we done? So we've taken the demand picture and we've given out $5 trillion in direct stimulus. We cut checks to people. We gave bonus in unemployment. We gave whatever it was, the extra payment protection, whatever, $5 trillion. Now, some of that already got spent. We are sitting on $1.6 trillion, a stupid amount of excess savings in accounts. So what did we do with demand? Demand is willingness and ability to buy. We have taken demand and doubled or tripled it. What about supply? Well, you have to be living under a rock to not realize that supply is constrained. The ports, LA County's got 111 ships out there. We have Vietnam not making Nike shoes, and we have all this other nonsense going on. So we've seen supply cut in half. You triple demand, you cut supply in half. What the hell do you think happens? And then you freaking morons approve another $1 trillion in spending, which is going to be hard commodities and all of these other things. And then you're trying to tell me inflation is going to go down. Really? So what we're going to see and what you'll go through in that economics 101 is we're about to see nasty inflation. Inflation will be worse in 4 to 6 months than it is today. And that is frightening to say. However, there will be a reverse because the human being is predictable. The things that I've learned about watching the human condition over 30 years is you all move in a herd. You all do. Right now, all of you are started Christmas shopping early. Why? Because you have been told the store shelves will be empty and you want to buy your kids that special widget and this or that or other thing. So you are spending your money early, which is going to make Q4 look like a monster. Then we get to Q1, probably Q2, and you turn around and your savings account is not what it used to be. And inflation has now been running for 6 months. So gas that was $5 is now 6.5 or whatever it's going to be in California. And your lettuce or apples or eggs or milk or whatever is up 30%. Because again, the supply's down. It's going to be nasty. And then the Fed's going to jack up rates and then it's going to cause, the whole economy to slow down. So I think we have 6 months of raging inflation. I think that will lead to deflation because what happens to supply in 6 months? Well, eventually they're going to figure out the ports and eventually Vietnam's going to make shoes again. And eventually this will happen. And then what happens is like grocery stores, you know what they're doing now? They're double and triple ordering. That's happening around the board. So when you get to March, April, or May, the retailers who didn't have any inventory are going to be awash in inventory and you're going to be able to buy everything at a discount. So it will be wave of inflation, probably deflation, and then we're going to have stagflation after that. The Federal Reserve is so out of step. It is so painful. The government is clueless. Inflation is the largest tax and they never talk about it. Here's a hint. If you're poor, inflation is crushing. I was poor growing up and I tell that story. It's part of my life. My mother sitting at the table, $87 left, $300 in bills. I will never forget that day. And it was all because of inflation. It's not good. It's not good what's coming.
That was valuable. Thank you, Zuber. That was good, man. That was really good. I think it's time for all of us to get to work, right? Q4. Let's not take our foot off the gas.
No, go.
Let's not go home early, right? And especially going into this season, guys, holiday season, I see half of the industry, I would say more than half of the industry shut off. Knowing what we know based on what Michael just said, I don't think that's a great idea.
Oh, it's a horrible idea. So I've been doing this a long time. I talk about the deal of the decade coming around once a year. I've gone back and looked at the numbers. 70% of the time, I do my best deal between Thanksgiving and New Year's.
So good.
Some people have to close by the 31st. And when you are the last man standing that can close in 10 days, it's a good feeling.
Huge, Zuber, huge. KP, the OG's got a great question.
Yeah, hey, thanks. And Michael's certainly on fire today. Appreciate you being here and the guys putting this together. I read an article on Inman earlier today that was stating that, well, actually there's been legislation introduced in LA where they're thinking of banning iBuyers. And I was just wondering if you think that's ever going to happen. And if it did, how would it affect the market?
I would never put anything past a city or locale in California. I've lived here my whole life. We lean that direction. So could it happen? Absolutely. iBuyers would find a way around it. It would become more cumbersome. They'd have to buy through different entities or pass throughs, or they would figure it out. The rich always do. But even let's stand back. I mean, anybody know? I mean, does anybody know how many transactions occur in the state of California? I don't know, but I'm guessing if the nation is 6 million, I'm going to guess that California is 800,000 to 1 million, given we're the largest state. That's a pure ass guess. But so if let's say it's 1 million for round numbers, which again, I don't know if it's true, but probably close. iBuyers are what? 15,000, 12,000. They're nothing. They're nothing. And they're going to get less because they learned their lesson from Zillow, right? Don't overpay. California is not friendly. So it would be a nothing burger. In fact, it would probably help wholesalers in owner ocs, because people like to buy from who they know. When you really have a conversation, they'd much rather buy from you, somebody they know, can see at Starbucks, than some big gargantuan company. Yeah, so I don't think losing iBuyers. I don't think it would be missed, but I could be wrong.
Thank you, sir.
Great question, KP. Great answer, Michael. Thank you for that. So again, if we have 1 or 2 more questions, please raise your hand. I'm going to ask a few. And so I want to kind of project out and take a look at Michael. By the way, if you like what Michael's sharing, which I believe all of us love, we're all here still, right? After 45 minutes, follow him on Instagram, but even more importantly, follow him on YouTube. Because what he's talking about now, even if some of this stuff went over your head, every day he's doing financial news and he's breaking it down in just a nice, plain English, simple way. So even if some of the stuff was a little foreign or like, what's he talking about? If you have that kind of experience, I've had that at times where I've had to Google things he said to me, right? Like that happens. So what I would share with you is get in the conversation by following him on YouTube on the Financial Daily News. And I believe me, after about 30, 60 days, you'll start to get in the groove and start to get in a rhythm. So with that said, Michael, let's do some projections now. A year from now, next year, 12 months from now, where do you think interest rates will be?
So I'm going to do owner occ, and you could based on that. So today, heading into this call, interest rates are roughly 3.3. I'm going to go 3.8, say 3.8 to 3.9. So under 4. But higher than today.
Higher than today. Okay, absolutely. Let's talk about inventory. I know that we talk a lot about inventory in our Friday conversations. We thought we talk about the real estate market slowdown. Talk about the slowdown, and then where do you see inventory next year?
Yeah. So one of the things I want to be very clear, and why I kind of congratulated you if you've been in the market for 2 years, you've seen amazing appreciation. I want to be very clear. We are not going to see that next year. We can't see 20% after 20% after 20%. That is how bubbles are created. So we are going to go from 100 miles an hour to probably 40. So I see appreciation next year somewhere between 8 and 12%. And these are national numbers. Do your own work in your own area. I have to talk nationally because I have a national presence. Inventory. That is the thing that I think is noticeably higher. So today, again, to call the number, let's call it 1.3 million available units available for sale. I think we're about 1.8 to 1.9. So we're about 40 to 50% higher, but still under what a normal market is. Some markets will have that famous 5 to 6 month supply, but not nationally speaking. Single family homes are quickly becoming an asset that is loved by the wealthy. The reason that Wall Street is buying single family homes and invitation homes and rooms or homes for rent or whatever it is because they're getting 6, 7, 8% returns, risk adjusted returns. They're not going to stop. They are now buying directly from builders. D.R. Horton, I believe, was the company that reported this, that 20% of next year's production is going directly to build for rent, which means 20% of D.R. Horton homes are not going owner occupant. smoke that for a minute, right? So I think single family homes are very safe. I think prices slow down, rents slow down, but I'm going to keep buying next year without question. So I think inventory is up to like 1.8, 1.9.
Got it. Love it. Love it. So he covered appreciation, right? Forecast for next year. He talked about inventory for next year. We talked about interest rates. I want to go to Victoria. Victoria, go for your question.
Thank you, Michael, Adrian, and Ty for doing this. Hey, Michael, so I'm new, I just hopped on duplex or triplex. I'm ordering your book right now, and I'm going to go subscribe to your video aside from that. Thanks.
Victoria, I think I missed part of that. You were saying you're getting the book and subscribing to YouTube. Was your question what to do next?
Where should I start for my first
okay.
duplex, triplex?
Yeah, so this is kind of step one of the course. Both Adrian, Omar, and Ty are in it. You have to create a buy box, which it sounds like your buy box is multifamily, duplex, and tries. Inside the buy box, you need to pick your city. I would generally recommend a zip code, probably multiple zip codes if it's going to be duplexes through tries. You want to get a list of 20 to 40 active, and then you want to hit that. You want to hit that criteria every day. It's what I call your buy box and daily discipline. You have to learn the market. You have to learn what an average duplex and triplex yields, and you can't do that in a day. You can't do that in a week. It takes 60 or 90 days. The best thing to do is to buy the course, How to Get Started One Rental at a Time. Many people in here have it. It comes with a Facebook group where you can network, ask questions, but that is step one of the course. Declare a buy box, look at it every day, understand what an average deal is. And after 60 days, Victoria, you will have ultimate confidence. You will feel much better you won't be guessing. There are too many people that are excited about real estate and then guess. I don't like guessing. I only want to do good or great deals. But unfortunately, that takes about 60 to 90 days to kind of learn what a good or great deal is. So that's my recommendation. And just for this group here, there is a discount code that I created in June that you might as well use. It's called June 50, all one word, JUNE50. You can get the course for $249 today if you want. It's going to go up a lot more January 1st. But you might as well save $50 today. It'll be a whopping $249. It's crazy value and all the other stuff in there. So that's what I would do.
I love it. Great question, Victoria. Terriel, you're going to be our last question. You got 2 questions today, man. Look at you. So you're going to be our last question. And then I have some wrap up stuff I want to ask Michael. So specifically, I'm going to ask Michael about plan of action and what do you do from here? Where are the opportunities? But go for it, Terriel.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty quick. Thank you, Ty. So the double-ended question, Michael, would you choose to considering today's rates, 20, 30, or 40-year rates? And what is the cash flow? Sorry, not the cash flow. What is the cash on cash that you would be looking for in California?
Yeah, so I have not looked at 40-year mortgages, so I'm very boring. 30-year money for me, right? Because again, I want to see the end of paying this off. 40-year money scares the shit because that's like 40-year feels too much like forever. So I would do 30-year money, just kind of where I'm at in my head. But for me, Fresno, right now, it's an average deal is 6%. So I want 8. I will do every deal above 8.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. So great question, Terriel. I want to just share real quick. So Michael, if you don't, like a lot of you know, so Michael has the book One Rental at a Time. He also has the second book, the second book, which is the Conversations with the Real Estate Millionaires. So does that discount code work on both, Michael?
No, the discounts for the course. The books are published by Amazon.
Excuse me. Yeah, there you go. So if you're interested in the course, you go to the website, onerentalatatime.com. I want to just share here. We're going to give away, Adrian doesn't know this, but we bought a case of books to give away. So if you're interested in getting a free book, all you got to do is just text the word book to the 949 number, same number that you guys used to get here. And we're going to give away, just so you guys know, the first 10 people, right?
Wow.
1 through 10, we're going to give away 10 books today. So Also, the people that are in the mentorship, you're going to be getting a book as well. So anyway, so text the word book to 949-401-7598. We obviously want to share that, Adrian and I.
Wow.
And Michael gave us a great discount on the case. Michael, a lot of people in the chat were messaging me and saying, okay, where do we go from here? Plan of action as a realtor, as a lender, as an investor, as a new investor. Plan of action. What do I do from here? And just a couple of thoughts of one rental at a time to get in the game and or get more units in my portfolio. Just your thoughts of plan of action.
Yeah, so this is totally off the top of my head. So again, trying to speak to everyone that's watching live and hopefully watching on the recording. I'm going to go back to the question. I think it was Victoria that asked it. So the first thing I would do is declare a buy box. Spend a day, spend 2 days figuring out what you want. Because when you do a buy box the one rental at a time way, that is the only thing I give you permission to look at. You do not look at anything else. I don't care. No squirrels, no butterflies, no nothing. Take a day, take 2 days, and declare a buy box. A good buy box for most people is something that produces 20 to 40 active listings. You or most of the people here are watching are real estate agents. So maybe because this is your business, you can do slightly more, but not much more. If it's 20 to 40, you're not going to do 400. It's too much. So step one, what is today? Today's Tuesday. I almost said it's Saturday. It's Tuesday. I want you to declare a buy box by Friday. And how do you declare? Well, Ty has already given you a phone number for the book. You're probably in Ty's mentorship program. I want you to tag Ty or Adrian, whoever your coach is, and I want you to declare what your buy box is. And it's probably got to be several criteria. To use Victoria from memory, I'm going to declare a city, LA count or LA. Duplexes and tries. These 3 zip codes between this and this, between 400 grand and 8. I don't know what the criteria is. You declare a buy box. Step 1 by Friday. Step 2, starting Saturday, I want you to start documenting that data. And again, if you buy my course, I give you my sample spreadsheet. If the spreadsheet's not the magic is the daily discipline. Write down the address, the square footage, the price, the rents, the taxes, the insurance, the expenses, because you got to build yield. And in the beginning, you're not going to know. It's okay. It's a process of learning. You have to make ready costs, do ABC, all these things I talk about all the time on the channel. But ultimately, what I want you to do is I want you to look at that buy box for 15 days in a row. And then I want you to say things like, how many properties went pending? How many new properties came on? I want you to declare, again, with your coach or your mentor or whoever you're following, I want you to tell them in 2 weeks what changed. If they're going to prove it. And again, I can't stress this enough. Too many people try to outthink the process. Sit back, declare a buy box. That is all you get permission to look at. I don't care if a wholesale deal comes across your desk. I don't care if you get a call from an owner. I don't care. If you're going to do this thing, we need to learn average. And the best way to do it is get focused on your buy box. So that's what I would do. That would be my call to action. And then by the end of the year, you're going to get a really good feeling of duplexes or triplexes in LA between this and this, because that's 45 days from now. So that's what I'd be doing between now and the end of the year.
So good. So good, Zuber. Remember, guys, what we see is what we look for. What we see is what we look for. And this is just programming our mind and making sure that we are looking for the right things. We are seeing the right things. Great freaking answer, Zuber. I love it.
I love it. I love it. So the winners, we do have winners for the book. We got,
oh my goodness, already.
A lot of you, Lorena, Victoria, John, Christine, Jose, Joseph, Lynn, Raymond. You guys will be getting books. So I wanted to thank you guys for that. Thank you for your interest. I want to just say, and I'm not going to pitch this, but if any of you have, I know there's a lot of guests on here. If any of you have any interest in foundation builders, just same thing, text the word info. And there's a link there, a couple of links. You can see what Adrian and I are up to with real estate foundation builders. Just text the word info. I'm not going to pitch it here, but I just want to thank Michael. Again, if you're interested also in Michael's course, go to the website, onerentalatatime.com, onerentalatatime.com. If you already have some of his books, please, please, please go on to Amazon. Give this man a 5-star review. Go onto his YouTube and write some nice comments about how wonderful he is and how generous he is with his time. So Michael, from Adrian and I, we want to thank you for everybody here participating. Closing words, Adrian?
Thank you guys for the questions. Thank you guys for playing all out. How many of you guys took something good away from this call by a show of hands? By a show of hands. All right. I love it. I love it. You guys are awesome. Way to show up, way to participate, way to deliver Zuber, way to deliver TYLG. I'm excited for all of you. My parting words are, keep your foot on the gas these last 2 months. Do not let off. Do not go home early. If you're going to take a vacation, schedule it correctly. But you guys, we have such an opportunity right now. We have such an opportunity over these next 3 months. Let's take advantage of them. Let's go into 2022 with some serious momentum.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all. See you soon. Let's go.